All right. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to this lightning talk at ArgoCon. I hope your ArgoCon is going good so far. So let's get started. In this talk, we're going to basically introduce a new feature that will be added to Argo CD in version 3.1, which is basically the CLI, which is basically the plugin support to the Argo CD CLI. So about me, really quick, my name is Nitish. I work as a software engineer at Akuity. I'm also an Argo CD maintainer, a CN7 ambassador, and I did my LFX with Kubernetes project a couple of years ago. You can find me at this handle, Nitish, maybe on Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you want to. Let's get started. So this was generally the proposal that was raised by Christian Hernandez from Akuity regarding adding the CLI plugin support to the Argo CD CLI. I'm not sure if Christian is here, but let's go ahead. You can obviously scan this proposal if you would want to, just to see what was the motivation behind introducing the plugin support for the CLI. But coming to the question, what do you mean by the plugin support? So let's get started and see that. So what is an Argo CD plugin? In simple terms, an Argo CD plugin is a standalone executable file whose actually name is going to begin with Argo CD hyphen as a prefix, and you're going to store that Argo CD hyphen in your system's absolute path. So what is going to happen, whatever the binary that you put it in your absolute path, that is basically going to become like a subcommand of Argo CD without you going into the Argo CD's code base, making your own changes, raising a pull request, and do some sort of thing. That's basically what an Argo CD plugin looks like. It's similar to how kubectl has a plugin system for it. How many of you are aware of kubectl plugins here? Just raise your hands. All right. For all of those who are not aware of kubectl plugins, I think Argo CD plugin system works the same way. So let's get started. What are the conditions for the plugin? Like, how should a plugin be executed at the first place? So when the first condition is that the binary, the executable binary should always start with Argo CD hyphen as a prefix name. The reason for this convention is because there are a lot of binaries that could be placed on your system's absolute path. So we just need to find a way to differentiate some sort of behavior to find which binaries are associated with Argo CD or not. Second, the binary should have the executable permission. Otherwise, it's going to get ignored by your system. Basically, it's going to get ignored by Argo CD. The third thing is that the binary should reside in your system's absolute path. So for example, if you put your binary in your system's relative path, like Argo CD hyphen demo hyphen plugin, that's not going to get executed if you put it in relative path. But if you put this in your system's absolute path, it's going to get executed. All right. This is very important, like how you're going to name your plugin. So as I mentioned earlier, the naming convention is pretty similar. All you need to do is build a binary that should start with an Argo CD hyphen prefix, and you're just going to put that in your system's absolute path. For example, user /local/bin. If it doesn't make sense right now, we're just going to have a demo real quick, so that will make things more clear to you all. So for example, if you see that you have a plugin named Argo CD hyphen demo hyphen plugin is on your system's absolute path, this is actually going to get executed as Argo CD. Then everything after the Argo CD hyphen is going to become a subcommand of Argo CD. For example, here this will become like Argo CD, then demo plugin is going to become a subcommand, then this Argo CD hyphen demo plugin might have its own flags, argument, those are going to get executed here. What are the limitations of this feature? So currently, it's basically not possible to create plugins that override the existing Argo CD normal commands. What I mean to say is that, for example, you already are aware of the fact that Argo CD has its like normal subcommands, such as Argo CD version, right? That displays the version. What if you create your own binary called as Argo CD hyphen version and put in your absolute path? The thing is, it's not going to get executed because Argo CD, it will be executed as Argo CD version if you look carefully, because everything after Argo CD hyphen is going to get executed. So it's going to get executed as Argo CD version, but it won't get executed it won't execute your binary. Why? Because Argo CD version is a normal subcommand of Argo CD. So Argo CD is going to respect its own normal subcommands. But if you want to execute your own binaries, you should always name your plugins that are not matching the Argo CD's normal commands, basically, normal command that exists, example. So that's what I have mentioned in the slides as well. Due to also this limitation, it is also not possible to use the plugins to add new subcommands to existing Argo CD commands. What I mean to say is that if you you already know aware of the fact that you have Argo CD cluster list command, but if you would want to have a certain command such as Argo CD cluster upgrade, then the binary that you're going to create is Argo CD cluster, and then maybe you are adding a subcommand called as upgrade, to Argo CD cluster, Argo CD -cluster binary. But that's not that will get executed as Argo CD cluster upgrade, but it's not going to get executed. Why? Because Argo CD cluster is actually a normal subcommand that is going to get executed. So Argo CD is going to see, does Argo CD cluster exist? If it does exist, it's not going to invoke your binary, even if you put it in your app system's absolute path. All right, so as a part of this demonstration, we're going to take a look at what is MTA. So this is one of the plugins that we at Akuity created. It's in pre-alpha stage. So we're going to show a demo how this looks like. So it generally lets you convert your Flux components to Argo CD-compatible custom resources. You obviously can scan the QR there and then just take a look at this repository. All right, it's the demo time. Let's get started then. OK. The first thing that I want to do here is I just want to tell you about the binaries that are in my system's absolute path right now. So if you see, I have a couple of binaries here, which is Argo CD cluster list, Argo CD -foo, Argo CD helper, Argo CD lovely plugin, Argo CD MTA, Argo CD version, right? The Argo CD MTA is the one that we are mainly concerned about. But let's get started. And if you see right now, I'm just trying to build it from my own plugin branch because it has not got merged yet. It will be introduced in version 3.1 due to certain discussions with the community so far. So if I try to execute the plugin called as Argo CD, and you see that this plugin, Argo CD cluster list, is only going to get executed like Argo CD, and then cluster -list is going to become a subcommand of it. So if I just do like this, let me. All right, you see, that's actually executing the binary. So even if I tell you about right now, so here you go. So this was a binary that got eventually executed, and cluster -list was a normal subcommand that eventually become for your Argo CD. Let's try to execute another binary, which is Argo CD -foo. That's pretty simple. All it does is like Argo CD, and how is it going to execute it? It's like Argo CD -foo. So I mean, everything after Argo CD - is going to become like a normal subcommand. Let's come to another one, which is like Argo CD helper. That's going to get executed the same way. If you come to this one, which is Argo CD lovely plugin, this is actually going to execute like Argo CD lovely and this plugin. This is going to execute like this. This is actually a normal, I think, a really famous plugin. And if you see, it's taking a little bit time, but it's actually getting executed. So you see, that's actually the plugin that got executed. It was built by the community itself. All right. The last one I would just want to talk about before moving to MTA is that Argo CD version. So this is a binary, and if I just do something like this, let's see. So you see, it should print hello world if I try to execute it. I mean, but it won't print it because, it won't print it. Why? Because, because Argo CD version is a normal subcommand. It's not going to get executed. All right, let's move to the MTA now. So MTA is basically a CLI tool that eventually lets you convert your Flux components to Argo CD-compatible CRs. So if I go to Argo CD MTA, and if I see, this is generally the, you can convert your customization or Helm release to your, basically your, what I can say, basically to your Argo CD CRs. So I have this manifest, first manifest, which is like, manifest.yaml, that's a pretty simple manifest. All it does is like create a customization resource and a Git repository. If I run the command in Argo CD MTA scan, so let me just see. Yeah. All right, so you can see right now that I have actually, so MTA has actually scanned all the, Helm release and customization resources. As you can see, there were like a couple of Helm release resources and customization resources that were present in the default namespace. So if I just try to convert one of these Helm release to your, any of this Argo CD CRs, it will work right now. So if I say MTA Helm release. So if I just try to convert this like a pod info, which is present in the default namespace, you can see that it actually got executed. It gave me an application of how this is going to look like. If you want to take a look at this, how a Helm release was look like, I think this was the manifest that we generally used for pod info one. Yeah, that's the one we used for the pod info. And the last one that we're basically going to take a look at is like, if you want to do it for your customization. Let me. All right. So if you try to see, it also get converted basically the customization resource to your Argo CD application here, actually. Sorry, to your Argo CD application set. So you're basically going to convert it to your Argo CD application set, and for that to basically Argo CD application. Yeah, I mean, that's it. We are like short of time, but do come to our Akuity's booth. We're also having a giveaway, so you can obviously download this book. Tomorrow at the booth, you can meet me at booth number S31. And you can obviously download this book from here. That is like Argo CD up and running by Christian Hernandez and Andrew Block. All right, having said that, any questions so far with this plugin support? I know we have less time, but if you have any questions so far, please let me know after this session ends. And yeah, thank you. This was like a quick really talk, but I would really appreciate if you all can give your feedback on this session so far. Thank you.